Hi everyone, my name is Courtney and today I'm going to be demoing the fm-metadata-service-tool. As we can see here, this is the official repo for the fm-metadata-service-tool. What this tool does is it pulls module metadata from a remote server and stores that metadata in a MongoDB database so that the contents of the metadata are searchable. So on this page we have our module metadata. This is where the metadata lives for now. As we can see, we have 3 test modules. The first module is actually empty because we don't know yet what the core will look like. But to show you one of these repos, I will click the test module 2 repo as an example. So if I go to the tree here, we'll see a YAML file. If you click this YAML file, we can see all the modules metadata. For now, this is how our metadata is being stored. So as we can see, we have the module's name, version, release, and so on. But before I begin showing you how the tool actually works, I would like to point you to the official documentation page real quick. So as we can see here, there are a list of required packages to run the tool, as well as how to install those packages. There's also information about the tool's capabilities, what we can search for. Now, there is an underlying Python script for this tool called database utilities. So this documentation here shows how to use these utilities to query the MongoDB database, as well as how to clear the database. So at the very bottom of this page, we have metadata service examples. So what this is the fm-metadata service tool, which has been installed on a remote server. So what we can do in the first example is we can return the entire database, which for now is very small. Or we can search the database by name. So if I click this first link here, this is going to be searching the entire database and returning everything. So if we look here, what we have is we have a list of a bunch of JSONs. So as we can see, when we actually load the data into Python, the YAML files are converted to Python dictionary objects, and then they're returned as a list. But these lists have been converted to JSON format. Now, let's just say, for example, we want to search by name instead of printing out the entire database. So what we can do is we type fm instead of list /info, and then we want to choose, let's just say we want to choose that something does not exist. So this is a module that does not exist. So as we can see, is we get an empty list because there's no module data for a module that doesn't exist. But we know that the test module 2 exists. So what we can do is we can look at test module 2, and we can see all the metadata. So it's going to take a little second to load. So here's all the data for test module 2. We also can look up test module 1, just to show an example. So it's still loading. So here's test module 1. So that's about it. So what I'm going to be showing you now is a Python tool that actually makes all of this happen. So here I'm going to show you in IPython how this tool works. So what I'm going to be doing is showing you the database utilities and how that works. So from database utilities, I'm going to import Modularity DB. So I'm going to create a Modularity DB object. Let's just say my DB is equal to Modularity DB. So what this is doing now when it's being loaded is it's pulling all the module metadata from the remote server and it's storing it in a MongoDB database locally. So let's just say I want to search now for something in the database. So I'm going to say my first query is going to be, let's say I want to search by name. Now we know that test module 1 and test module 2 exist. So let me just do test module 2. So what I want to do is I want to say result is equal to mydb.query Q1. So if I print out result, we can see the result of our query. So what we have here is the name is our test module 2. So this works great. But let's just say we want to do a more advanced query. So we can see here, for example, we have the references. So this includes a dictionary of the community, the documentation, and the tracker. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be showing you an example. So here's our query 2. So this follows the MongoDB general standards for searching a database. So what we have here is, as we see up here, is we have a module MD dictionary which contains a bunch of other dictionaries. So what we do is do module MD, and we're going to look in the data dictionary within module MD, and then within this data dictionary is references. So we're saying we want to look at this specific dictionary, we want to look for these specific contents. So here's our query. So what we want to do is now we want to say result is equal to query 2, and let's see what we get. So we should not be getting test module 1 because we know that right here is the references, documentation, tracker are different. We should be getting test module 1 instead of test module 2. So now that we have the result, we're going to print the result. So as we can see, is we get test module instead of test module 2. So this is about it, how to use the tool. I hope it was helpful, and thank you, and have a